Ethan had always been fascinated by dragons. He spent years studying them in secret, traveling far and wide to learn about their habits and lives. His colleagues laughed at his fascination, calling it a waste of time, but he did not care. He knew there was more to these creatures than anyone realized. Little did he know that today he would meet a dragon unlike any other. Lyra was different. She was a 7-foot dragon with scales that shimmered like molten gold under the sun. Unlike other dragons, she had a deep intelligence in her eyes and a gentle presence that made even the most hardened humans pause. She had seen humans as tiny and weak for centuries, never imagining one could be brave or clever enough to approach her world. Ethan stepped carefully through the tall grass of the valley, where the dragon's nest was hidden. His heart pounded. Every step felt heavy, but his curiosity drove him forward. He carried a small satchel filled with samples, devices, and notes. He knew he had to be cautious. Dragons could smell fear, and any sign of danger could end the mission before it even started. Lyra watched from atop a nearby hill. Her wings were folded neatly against her back, and her long tail curled around the rocks. She tilted her head as she studied the tiny human making his way up. She could see his determination, his careful movements. Humans were unpredictable, often foolish, yet this one seemed different. When Ethan finally reached the base of the hill, he stopped and raised his hands in a sign of peace. He spoke softly, his voice trembling slightly. "I mean no harm. I only wish to learn, to understand, and to help." Lyra narrowed her eyes. She lowered herself so her massive body rested on the ground, showing she was not a threat. "Humans speak with words, but many lie with them," she rumbled. Her voice was deep, like the echoes of thunder across a canyon. Ethan nodded. "I know, but I am not like others. I have come because I believe we can work together. There is danger to your eggs. A disease spreads that could destroy them. I have knowledge that might help." Lyra's eyes softened. She had heard humans speak of dangers before, but she had never trusted their promises. And yet, this one spoke with a mix of fear and courage that was rare. "Why should I trust you, tiny human?" she asked, her voice calm but cautious. "Because I have nothing to gain if you do not live," Ethan replied. He opened his satchel and carefully placed a small glowing device on the ground. It pulsed softly, a sign of the protective measures he had designed for the eggs. "This can detect the virus and help heal it. But I cannot do it alone. I need your guidance." Lyra studied the device, the glowing light reflected in her large eyes. She felt the sincerity in Ethan's words. He was brave to come so close, to offer help when many humans would have run away. She lowered her massive head closer to him, inspecting the small human as if reading his very soul. "Very well," Lyra said at last. "I will watch over my eggs and you will follow my instructions. But know this, human. One mistake, and you will not leave this valley alive." Ethan swallowed hard but nodded. "I understand. I will not fail." Lyra's tail swept the ground, brushing against rocks as she moved to the nest. She gestured with a claw, indicating for Ethan to come closer. His heart raced as he stepped forward, careful not to make sudden movements. The nest was enormous, filled with eggs that shone with a pearly glow. Some were large, some small, but all were fragile and precious. Ethan knelt beside them, studying the eggs. He took careful readings, noting temperatures, colors, and patterns. Lyra watched silently, occasionally flicking her tail in thought. She was impressed. Humans were small, yes, but their minds could accomplish things her kind could not always understand. Hours passed as Ethan worked. Lyra stayed close, her presence both protective and curious. She listened as he explained his devices, how they would detect any signs of the virus, and how they could neutralize it before it spread. Ethan's voice never wavered, his focus unwavering despite the sheer danger of being so close to a powerful dragon. By the time the sun began to set, Lyra had made her decision. She lowered her massive body onto the ground beside Ethan, creating a barrier between him and any danger. Her head hovered over the nest, eyes scanning the horizon. "Your eggs are safe with me," she declared, her voice a rumble that shook the ground gently. If you are brave enough to stay, I will not allow harm to come to them. Ethan looked up, relief and awe mixing in his eyes. Thank you, Lyra. I promise I will do everything in my power to protect them. For the first time in centuries, Lyra felt a sense of hope. Perhaps humans were not as weak as she had thought, and perhaps, together, they could face the dangers that threatened her kind. As night fell over the valley, the dragon and the tiny human began their unusual partnership, united by courage, trust, and the hope of a new beginning. Ethan woke early the next day, sunlight spilling across the valley. He could hear Lyra shifting nearby, the sound of her massive scales rubbing against the ground. The dragon was already awake, her sharp eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of danger. Ethan knew he had to move carefully. Every step, every word mattered. He approached Lyra, carrying his small satchel filled with devices and samples. I found something, he said softly, not wanting to startle her. He placed a small holographic projector on the ground and activated it. A three-dimensional image of several eggs appeared, marked with red and yellow indicators showing signs of the virus. Lyra leaned closer, her long snout hovering above the projection. She studied it with an intensity that made Ethan nervous. Her golden eyes flicked from the hologram to him, searching for any sign of deception. Explain, she commanded, her voice calm but firm. Ethan took a deep breath. The virus spreads quickly, especially in the early stages. It attacks the embryos inside the eggs, weakening them until they can't survive. If it reaches your entire clutch, all of them could die. I've been studying a way to counter it using a combination of human technology and dragon physiology. We need to act fast. Lyra's wings twitched nervously. She had never faced anything like this before. Dragons were strong, and many threats could be fought with claws and fire, but a virus was invisible. It was something she could not overpower alone. How can a tiny human help save them? She asked, her voice tinged with doubt. Ethan kneeled and opened his satchel. He removed a small device that glowed with a soft blue light. This device can detect the virus inside the eggs. Once we find the infected ones, we can use a special healing solution I've developed. It's not perfect, but it can stabilize them long enough for your natural defenses to recover. Lyra's eyes narrowed. She had seen humans invent strange tools before, but she had never witnessed one that could protect her kind. And you trust this device? She asked, her tone sharp. Ethan nodded. I've tested it carefully. It's based on human science, yes, but it works with dragon biology too. I believe it can help, but I can't do it alone. I need you to guide me, to tell me how to handle the eggs and where the virus is strongest. Lyra paused. She could feel the sincerity radiating from him. He was brave, yes, but more than that, he was dedicated. No human she had ever known would risk so much for dragons. Her long tail swept the ground slowly. Very well, she said finally. We will work together. But if you make a mistake, there will be consequences. Ethan swallowed hard. I understand. I will not fail. For the next few hours, they worked in silence, each learning from the other. Ethan placed sensors near the eggs, carefully noting temperatures, shell thickness, and subtle color changes. Lyra showed him how to move the eggs gently, how to sense which ones were in danger first, and how to shield them from sunlight or cold. Slowly, a rhythm formed between the tiny human and the massive dragon. At one point, Lyra lowered her massive head to watch him more closely. You are patient, human, she said. Many of your kind would panic or make careless mistakes. Ethan smiled faintly. I can't afford to panic. These eggs depend on us. He looked up at her, feeling a strange bond forming between them. I've always believed humans can do great things when we try. We're small, yes, but our minds can be strong. Lyra considered his words. She had always thought of humans as weak and fleeting, incapable of true courage. But this one was different. He faced fear and danger willingly, not for glory or gain, but to protect life. She felt a growing respect for him and perhaps something more. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, Ethan and Lyra took a brief rest. He leaned against a rock, exhausted but determined, while Lyra curled protectively around the nest. The valley was quiet, save for the occasional chirp of alien birds and the distant rustle of trees. "Your technology is impressive," Lyra admitted after a while. "Perhaps humans are not as fragile as I thought." Her eyes softened, a hint of warmth in her deep gaze. "We may succeed yet." Ethan looked up, hope filling his chest. "We will succeed, Lyra. Together we can save your eggs. Your trust means everything to me." Lyra lowered her head, her breath warm against the glowing eggs. "Your courage is unusual for a human, Ethan. Perhaps there is hope for our worlds to work together. But remember, the danger is only beginning." Ethan nodded, determination hardening in his eyes. "Then we face it together." The night fell, and the valley became a quiet sanctuary of trust and teamwork. A tiny human and a massive dragon, working side by side, ready to confront the invisible enemy threatening the future of dragonkind. And in that partnership, a seed of hope began to grow, stronger than either could have imagined. Ethan rose early again, the sky painted with soft shades of orange and pink. Lyra was already awake, stretching her wings and letting out a low, rumbling yawn. Today, they would begin their journey to the alien world where the infected eggs were, a place far from the valley and full of unknown dangers. Ethan checked his satchel and devices one last time. Everything was in order: sensors, protective solutions, and tools for measuring the virus. His mind raced with anticipation and fear, but he kept his focus. Lyra's eyes followed him closely, her sharp gaze noting every detail. "Are you ready, human?" she asked, her voice calm but commanding. Ethan nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." He looked up at the massive dragon, feeling both awe and trust. "Lead the way, Lyra. I'll follow your guidance." Lyra lifted her wings, sending a gust of wind over the valley. She hopped into the air, her wings carrying her gracefully despite her size. Ethan climbed onto her back, holding tightly as they launched into the sky. The ground fell away quickly, and a sense of exhilaration mixed with fear filled him. They flew over forests and rivers, mountains and valleys, heading toward the distant alien planet. Lyra's speed was astonishing, her wings slicing through the air with power and precision. Ethan could feel the wind on his face, the thrill of flight unlike anything he had experienced before. He realized that humans might be small, but with courage and determination, they could reach heights even dragons did not expect. After several hours, the stars began to appear, painting the sky in shades of silver and blue. Ethan checked his instruments, noting the coordinates for the alien planet. They were entering dangerous space, where meteor showers and alien creatures could attack without warning. He trusted Lyra's instincts, knowing she had survived countless threats before he was even born. Suddenly, Lyra's wings faltered for a moment as a gust of alien wind buffeted them. Ethan grabbed her scales tightly, his heart pounding. "Are we in danger?" he shouted over the roar of wind. Lyra adjusted her wings, steadying their flight. "Minor turbulence. Nothing we cannot handle," she replied, her voice steady. She veered around a jagged asteroid, her massive body moving with astonishing agility. Ethan realized that dragons were not only strong but incredibly intelligent in ways humans rarely understood. Hours passed, and Ethan took the time to study Lyra's reactions, learning her signals and movements. They began to communicate without words, understanding each other through gestures and intuition. He marveled at how their bond had grown so quickly, built on trust and shared purpose. Finally, they reached the orbit of the alien planet. The surface below was a strange mix of glowing vegetation and jagged rock formations. Ethan's instruments detected high levels of the virus in certain regions. He and Lyra prepared for landing, carefully selecting a safe spot near the largest concentration of infected eggs. As they descended, alien birds with shimmering feathers and sharp talons swooped around them, curious and territorial. Lyra's roar echoed across the land, warning them to stay away. Ethan marveled at her strength and command of the environment. Together, they landed safely, the ground trembling slightly under Lyra's massive weight. Once on the surface, Ethan unpacked his equipment while Lyra watched the horizon. "We must be cautious," she said. "This world is strange and unpredictable. The virus is not the only threat here." Ethan nodded, carefully placing sensors near the infected areas. He studied the alien eggs, noting their differences from Lyra's own species. He realized that humans had much to offer in understanding and preserving life. His mind raced with ideas, and he felt a renewed determination to succeed. Lyra stayed close, protective but allowing him the freedom to work. She could sense his cleverness, his ability to adapt to danger quickly. "You are patient and clever human," she said. "Perhaps your kind deserves the respect I once reserved only for dragons." Ethan smiled faintly. "Thank you, Lyra. I just want to help. Together we can save them." As night fell over the alien world, they set up a temporary shelter. Ethan calibrated his devices and prepared the first healing solutions, while Lyra stood guard, her eyes glowing softly in the darkness. Despite the dangers surrounding them, a sense of hope filled the air. A tiny human and a massive dragon, united in purpose, ready to face the unknown threats of this alien planet. And with each passing moment, their bond grew stronger, a partnership forged in courage, trust, and the determination to protect life against all odds. The alien planet was alive with strange sounds and glowing colors. Ethan moved cautiously, following Lyra through the twisted terrain. Every step was a test of balance and attention, as alien plants and creatures moved in ways unfamiliar to human eyes. The virus was spreading and time was short. They had to locate and protect the infected eggs quickly. Suddenly, the ground shook. Ethan looked up to see a group of alien predators emerging from the shadows. They were large, with multiple legs and jagged teeth that glinted under the planet's strange light. Their eyes glowed a faint red, and they hissed as they approached, sensing the intruders. Lyra growled, her wings flaring out in a protective stance. "Stay behind me," she commanded. Her roar echoed across the rocky landscape, sending smaller creatures scurrying into hiding. Ethan felt the vibrations through his feet, and though fear gripped him, he did not move back. He trusted Lyra's strength. The predators lunged. Lyra's tail swung with powerful precision, knocking several back into the jagged rocks. Flames from her mouth streaked across the ground, scorching the nearest attackers. Ethan quickly activated his devices, setting up small energy barriers that slowed the predator's advance. His heart raced, but he worked with methodical focus, relying on human ingenuity to complement Lyra's power. Lyra moved like a shadow, her massive body agile and terrifying. She protected Ethan as he moved closer to the infected eggs, her eyes never leaving the threat. Ethan placed sensors on the eggs and began preparing the healing solution. He poured it carefully over the first batch, watching for any signs of improvement. One predator managed to leap close to Ethan, its claws swinging. Ethan ducked just in time, rolling to the side and triggering a small trap that sent the creature flying back. Lyra roared in approval, then lunged at another predator, biting and swiping with a strength no human could match. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. The alien predators continued to press, but the teamwork between human and dragon held firm. Ethan's clever traps and devices slowed the creatures, while Lyra's raw power eliminated the most dangerous threats. The synergy between them was remarkable, a perfect balance of brains and strength. Eventually, the last of the predators fled, injured and wary of the strange duo. Ethan and Lyra took a moment to catch their breath. He wiped sweat from his brow, feeling both exhaustion and exhilaration. The eggs were safe for now, thanks to their combined efforts. Lyra's golden eyes softened as she looked at Ethan. "You were brave, human," she said. "Many of your kind would have panicked and failed. You are clever and you learn quickly. Perhaps there is more to humans than I imagined." Ethan smiled faintly, though his body ached from the intense exertion. "We make a good team, Lyra. I couldn't have done this without you." The alien world was quiet once more, the predators retreating into the shadows. Ethan monitored the eggs, noting the subtle signs of recovery from the healing solution. Lyra stayed close, her massive body forming a protective barrier around the nest. Despite the danger, a sense of accomplishment filled them both. They had survived the first real test of their partnership. As night fell, strange bioluminescent plants lit the landscape, casting a soft glow on the eggs and the two protectors. Ethan felt a strange peace settle over him, knowing that they had accomplished something remarkable. A human and a dragon, standing together against impossible odds, proving that courage, intelligence, and trust could overcome even the most dangerous threats. Lyra lowered her head to Ethan's level, her breath warm against his face. The eggs are safe for now, Ethan, but the real challenge is still ahead. The virus will not wait, and there may be more threats we cannot yet see. Are you prepared to continue? Ethan nodded, determination shining in his eyes. I am. We'll face whatever comes next together. The dragon's eyes glimmered in approval. Together, they had faced alien predators and protected life. And together, they would face the challenges still to come, united by trust, courage, and the unbreakable bond forming between them. The alien world grew colder as Ethan checked his devices again. The readings were troubling. The virus was spreading faster than they had anticipated, and some eggs showed early signs of deterioration. He felt a wave of panic, but he forced himself to stay calm. Lyra noticed the change in his expression. "What is it, human?" she asked, her voice steady but tinged with concern. She moved closer, her massive body casting a protective shadow over the eggs. Ethan swallowed hard. The virus is advancing quickly. Some eggs may not survive if we don't act immediately. I need to stabilize them with the solution before it's too late. Lyra's golden eyes narrowed. She had faced countless threats before, but this invisible enemy was something she could not overpower with strength alone. She lowered her head, her breath warm against the ground as she studied the eggs. Then we must move quickly. I will protect you while you work. Ethan nodded and began carefully applying the healing solution to the first batch of eggs. The substance glowed softly as it seeped into the shells, stabilizing them temporarily. Lyra stood watch, her eyes scanning the terrain for any signs of danger. She flicked her tail, clearing debris that could harm the fragile eggs. Despite their efforts, some eggs were already too weak. Ethan's hands trembled as he tried to save them. I can't reach them all in time, he whispered, frustration and fear gnawing at him. Lyra lowered her massive head beside him. Do not despair, human. Your courage is what counts. Even if some fail, your effort will save many more. Trust in your abilities and in me. Ethan took a deep breath, drawing strength from her words. He focused on the remaining eggs, working with precision and care. Each drop of the healing solution was critical. His knowledge of human science, combined with Lyra's guidance, created a powerful synergy. Together, they stabilized most of the infected eggs, though a few remained fragile and uncertain. Hours passed, and the sun began to set. Ethan stepped back, exhausted but relieved. The majority of the eggs were stable, glowing faintly under the alien twilight. Lyra lowered her massive body around them, creating a barrier of warmth and protection. Your eggs are safe with me, Lyra declared, her voice a deep rumble that resonated through the valley. I will not let harm come to them while I am here. Ethan looked up at her, awe and gratitude filling his chest. Thank you, Lyra. I couldn't have done this without you. Your trust means everything to me. Lyra tilted her head, studying him closely. You have courage beyond your size, Ethan. Many humans would have given up. You stayed and faced the danger, using your mind and your hands to protect life. Perhaps your kind is not as small as I once believed. Ethan smiled faintly, though exhaustion weighed heavily on him. We make a good team. We may be different, but together, we can face anything. The alien world grew quiet as night fell. The bioluminescent plants lit the eggs with a soft glow, casting shadows on the protective figures of the dragon and the tiny human. Despite the ongoing threat of the virus, a sense of hope had taken root. They had overcome the first major crisis, proving that courage, trust, and cooperation could make a difference. Lyra rested her massive head near Ethan's shoulder, her eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of further threats. The virus is still out there, human. We have saved many, but the fight is not over. Are you prepared to continue? Ethan nodded firmly, determination shining in his eyes. I am. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The bond between human and dragon had grown stronger through the crisis. They were no longer just allies. They were partners united by a shared goal and mutual respect. Together, they had faced an invisible enemy and emerged victorious, ready to confront the dangers that lay ahead. The alien world was restless as Ethan and Lyra prepared for what they feared most. Strange vibrations trembled beneath the ground, and distant roars echoed across the terrain. They knew the creatures that guarded the planet's infected eggs would not stay away forever. The final battle was approaching. Ethan checked his devices one last time, ensuring the sensors and healing solutions were in place. Lyra flexed her massive wings, the muscles rippling under her golden scales. We face them together, human, she said, her voice steady. Your cleverness and my strength. Nothing will break us. Ethan nodded, determination hardening in his chest. We'll protect the eggs, no matter what. The ground shook violently as the alien predators appeared, more numerous and larger than before. Their red eyes glowed with hunger and aggression. Ethan's heart raced, but he focused on the plan. His human ingenuity would complement Lyra's raw power, and together they could hold the line. Lyra roared, a sound that echoed across the alien landscape and shook the attackers. She lunged at the nearest creatures, her tail sweeping and crushing anything in its path. Flames erupted from her mouth, creating barriers of fire that forced the predators to scatter. Ethan moved quickly, deploying traps and energy barriers with precise timing. He activated a series of pulsing devices that emitted light and sound, disorienting the creatures and giving Lyra the advantage. The battle was chaotic, with flashes of fire, glowing traps, and the alien predators hissing and snapping. One massive predator leapt toward Ethan, faster than he expected. He rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding its claws, and triggered a trap that shot energy pulses directly at the creature. It shrieked and fell back, stunned but not defeated. Lyra's eyes narrowed, and with a powerful leap, she pinned it down, her claws and jaws keeping it in place. Hours passed like minutes. The fight tested their endurance, courage, and trust. Ethan relied on his quick thinking, devising strategies on the fly, while Lyra's strength and speed held the predators at bay. Their teamwork was seamless, each anticipating the other's moves. The unlikeliest partnership had become an unstoppable force. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The predators, battered and confused, started retreating. Lyra's flames and tail strikes combined with Ethan's clever devices proved too much for them. Finally, the last of the attackers fled, disappearing into the shadows of the alien landscape. Ethan sank to his knees, exhaustion threatening to overwhelm him. Lyra lowered her massive body beside him, her breath warm against his back. "You fought well, human," she said, her golden eyes gleaming with admiration. "Your courage and intelligence saved the eggs." Ethan smiled faintly, sweat and dirt streaking his face. "We did it together, Lyra. I couldn't have done it alone." The eggs glowed softly under the alien twilight, their healing stabilizers working perfectly. Ethan carefully monitored them, ensuring each one was safe. Lyra remained vigilant, her body forming a protective barrier around the nest. They had faced the ultimate threat and emerged victorious. Lyra lowered her head, touching Ethan's shoulder gently. "The eggs are safe, human. You have my respect and trust. Your kind may be small, but your courage is mighty." Ethan felt a surge of pride and relief. "Thank you, Lyra. I'll continue to protect them, no matter what comes next." As night fell, the valley became quiet. The bioluminescent plants cast a soft glow over the eggs, and the stars shone above the alien horizon. Ethan and Lyra sat together, exhausted but victorious, knowing that their bond had been forged in the fires of battle. They had faced impossible odds and survived, proving that courage, intelligence, and trust could conquer even the most terrifying threats. The final battle had ended, but their journey was not over. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united by purpose, respect, and the unbreakable bond that had grown between a tiny human and a mighty dragon. The morning after the battle, the alien world was calm. Ethan walked among the eggs, carefully checking each one with his devices. The healing solution had stabilized most of them, and many showed signs of recovery. The virus was still present, but for now, life had been preserved. Lyra stood nearby, her golden scales gleaming in the soft sunlight. Her massive body curled protectively around the nest, ensuring no harm could reach the fragile eggs. She had fought fiercely and now watched vigilantly, aware that the battle had only delayed the threat. Ethan knelt beside a batch of eggs, taking readings and noting improvements. His hands moved with precision and care. "They're recovering," he whispered, relief washing over him. "Most of them will survive thanks to our efforts." Lyra lowered her head to inspect the eggs herself. "You did well, human. Your knowledge and courage have given them a chance. I am proud to have fought by your side." She nudged Ethan gently, a rare gesture of affection and trust from a dragon. Together, they began to repair the damaged areas around the nest, clearing debris and reinforcing protective barriers. Ethan used his devices to monitor the eggs' health continuously, while Lyra adjusted the environment, shifting rocks and debris to shield them from the sun or cold. Their movements were synchronized, a perfect partnership born of mutual respect and necessity. As hours passed, Ethan noticed a subtle change. The eggs began to glow with a warmer, healthier light. Some moved slightly, tiny cracks appearing as the embryos stirred. Life was returning, fragile but resilient. Lyra's eyes softened, and she let out a low, contented rumble. "The rebirth has begun," she said. "Your human ingenuity has made a difference. Perhaps together, our kinds can achieve what alone we could not." Ethan smiled faintly, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "It's not just my work, Lyra. It's ours. We make a good team. We complement each other." Lyra considered his words. For centuries, dragons had ruled their world alone, relying on strength and instinct. Humans were small, weak by comparison. But Ethan had proven that courage, intelligence, and determination could change outcomes that even a dragon's might could not. As the day wore on, the eggs showed more signs of life. Tiny movements, faint noises, and subtle warmth indicated that the next generation of dragons was surviving. Lyra's protective stance remained unwavering, her eyes constantly scanning for threats. Ethan took a moment to rest beside her, feeling the bond between them grow stronger. "I never imagined humans and dragons could work together like this," he admitted. "But now I see that size and strength aren't everything. Trust and determination matter more." Lyra lowered her head to his level, her gaze soft and approving. "You are brave, Ethan. Small in size, yet vast in courage and wisdom. The rebirth of these eggs is a testament to what can happen when our worlds unite." As night fell, the alien world glowed with bioluminescent light. The eggs shimmered, safe and warm under the care of the dragon and the human. Ethan watched, feeling hope and pride. They had survived the crisis and life was returning. Together, they had faced danger, fought side by side, and ensured the survival of a new generation. Their bond, once unusual and fragile, had grown into an unbreakable partnership. With the eggs safe and life returning, Ethan and Lyra looked toward the future with hope, knowing that their teamwork had created something powerful and lasting. A promise of life, courage, and the possibility of a better world. The alien planet was calm in the early morning, the soft light revealing the glowing eggs scattered across the nest. Ethan walked carefully among them, taking final readings. Each egg pulsed with life, stronger and healthier than the day before. The crisis had passed, at least for now, and the future of dragonkind seemed more secure. Lyra stretched her massive wings, the golden scales shining in the sunlight. Her eyes scanned the horizon, alert as always, but a sense of peace had settled over her. She lowered her head to Ethan's level, her breath warm and reassuring. "The eggs are safe, Ethan. Your efforts, combined with my protection, have given them a chance to grow and thrive. Ethan smiled, exhausted but fulfilled. We did it together, Lyra. Humans and dragons side by side. Who would have thought? He looked at the massive dragon, realizing how much he had come to respect and trust her. Their partnership had become more than just teamwork. It had become friendship, mutual admiration, and something deeper. Lyra nudged him gently, a rare gesture of affection. Perhaps this is the start of a new era. Humans are small, yes, but your courage, intelligence, and determination have proven that you can change the course of events, even in worlds that seem impossible to control. Ethan nodded, thinking of the challenges they had faced. From the initial discovery of the virus to surviving alien predators, to stabilizing the eggs, they had endured everything together. We've shown that size and strength are not the only measures of power. Courage, knowledge, and teamwork can accomplish incredible things. The bioluminescent plants around them pulsed gently, illuminating the valley in soft, colorful light. The eggs shimmered with new life, some moving slightly as the embryos stirred. Lyra's massive tail swept across the ground, clearing a path for Ethan and ensuring no harm came to the fragile next generation. Ethan carefully monitored each egg, making sure the healing solutions were working and that the virus was kept at bay. He felt a profound satisfaction in knowing that his human ingenuity had made a real difference. The HFY principle had never felt more real. Humans might be small, but their courage and wisdom could influence entire worlds. Lyra lowered her massive body to rest near Ethan. You have my respect, Ethan. Humans are often underestimated, but you have proven that bravery and intellect are not limited by size. I will carry this lesson with me and teach it to others of my kind. Ethan looked up at her, a smile spreading across his face. And I will continue to learn from you, Lyra. Together, we can protect life and face whatever challenges come next. The sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the alien valley. The eggs glowed brighter in the warmth, a symbol of hope and resilience. The partnership between human and dragon had created something greater than either could achieve alone. It was a bond built on trust, courage, and mutual respect. As they looked toward the horizon, Ethan and Lyra knew that this was only the beginning. There would be more challenges, more dangers, and more adventures. But together, they had proven that even the smallest human could make a difference in a galaxy filled with threats and wonders. The valley remained quiet, the eggs safe under their watchful eyes. A new era had begun, one where humans and dragons could work together, learning from one another and protecting life across worlds. Ethan and Lyra stood side by side, ready for the future, united by courage, intelligence, and an unbreakable bond forged through trials and triumphs.